had a very huge luck with someone from a Kaspa OG in the Kaspa channel. He made me an admin there, and since then I believe I've helped them moderating that chat. And then, as I was saying previously, I was thinking, and since then I'm daily thinking about Casper, right? What can I do? How can I help? And and I'm not saying this in a rude manner and without any disrespect to anyone, but I'm feeling like being handicapped because I lack the technical skills and I cannot do more than that I wish to, right? So I found this middle ground being not too technical, but not too light. So back in the day, I was thinking, how can I help the community? There were like maybe two, three uh, websites or apps that were showcasing what Caspa is doing. And I've built Cas.live, right? Which now basically serve as a timer for the crescendo if you open Cas.live. And that was in my opinion, it was very useful for everyone. You could see the balances on checks as you could check your wallet. You can see withdrawal fees. You can see the next not halving reduction, so on and so forth. That was very, very difficult for me. It took like 9 months to deliver that, almost a baby, because again, I had no technical skills, and I heavily relied on the ChatGPT and other AIs. But it's not like ChatGPT and AI is something that people believe you can just say, "Give me this," and they will give you that, right? But because I was always the middleman between tech and business, I would know what to ask, right, and how to put things together. So that was a challenge. No one was there for me in Cast.live. I had so many days and so many months of actually wanted to dropping that because of being unable to fund it, right? Everything was paid from my pocket. But then I think it's luck. I don't know how to call it. Um, I found uh, this amazing person. Again, they prefer not to call out their names, so I'm not doing that. I'll not do that, but they know who they are. Another Kaspa OG who said, "I'll back you up." He didn't say, "I'll back you up." His actions like um, showed me like he's backing me up, and he gave me courage, right, to push forward, forward, forward. So I had cast that live. It was a hectic and difficult period. I slept like maybe 4 hours per night, 3, 4 hours, and always doing that. And then KRC20 hit in, and I wanted to be the first person to actually provide utility for the end users. Utility in terms of like seeing a explorer, the tokens that were deployed, the amounts, everything around KRC20. So I've built casttools.com, but it was obvious at that time that I cannot scale, and the way I was doing things it wasn't, let's say, by the norm or like how the guideline is saying you should develop or deliver something. And then I went and with the help of the second Kaspa OG, he introduced me to a dev, and then we grew our team, and we developed Casbay, which is still standing and will take another form soon in terms of layout and everything. But to sum up on what you're saying, Chris, it's being now here and looking back. Yeah, we can laugh, we can joke, but the last 2+ years were full of challenges. And again, if this is luck, then I had tons of luck by meeting the right people at the right time, and they believed in me without any ask from me. I don't know why. Well, I guess why, but they never mentioned this to me. So I had luck, and I had passion, and I had challenges and also obstacles. But here we are today.
I really like that. And like, do you think, or surely you can see that um, how you've come about things and how you keep pushing. Like you said, you may not be the most technical person in the world. Like you may not be able to code everything that other people can code, but you obviously had a talent for being able to write out the correct prompts, and you sort of knew you knew what you were doing. It's just being able to organise it all. Now, for someone to actually take up the sort of gauntlet and just go ahead and just off their own back do that, um, is quite a task in itself, because like you said, like with Cast.live, you worked hard on that, so I assume you were doing sort of your day job as well, and then and also working on that, getting 4 hours sleep. I think the reason I mean, and don't get me wrong, there probably is a bit of luck in anything in life, but yeah, I also strongly believe you create your own luck. And the probability is, or the possibility is, that these people, the OG Caspians, that sort of wanted to help you, done so because they could see what you're trying to achieve, and the fact that you're so tenacious with it as well. Um, so I think a lot of it is to do with you as a person. You're obviously um, not afraid to learn, not afraid to make mistakes, and you're not afraid to get stuck in and try and create something good for the Casper ecosystem. Which is why a lot of people have a hell of a lot of respect for you. So I, and I don't know where I'm actually going with this, but I want to see if you can see that in yourself, surely, because there's not a lot of people that would do that, and I've got the utmost respect for people that will challenge themselves.
Oh, it was a wild ride, but yeah, let's see how this goes from now on.
Fair enough. You're so humble, man. Um, it's- so what? Like obviously going through all of that journey and getting to where you are now with obviously Cast.live being the focus, or the main focus now is obviously the countdown to crescendo, and you've still got Kaspa going as well, which is quite exciting. You said you're going to sort of revamp that up as well, which is going to be brilliant. But like, what inspired you to join Casplex team, and how did you see your role advancing Casper's capabilities beyond what you achieved independently?
Um, Casplex is to be honest, uh, it wasn't a purpose or goal for me, right, to join Casplex. Throughout this, when KRC20 appeared, there were several projects reaching out. Can you help us? Can you guide us? Can you provide some insights, or can you promote us, right? And I always try to be independent. I let's say did some wrong tweets, or let's say wrong messages across the board. So I'm not perfect, of course. But then I quickly reacted and I understood that I need to stick to my beliefs. And the Casplex, basically joining them. To be honest, if you have the chance to actually talk with Chris, 5BB, and their team, you'll get extremely pleasantly surprised, because if you consider me humble, they are like 10x more humble. So Chris and 5BB are, and these two are just on the top of the teams that on team, sorry, that Casplex has. Um, their passion for Kaspa is unspoken, meaning that you don't see them tweeting every day with all the shit posts that I was doing and I'm doing, right, like with Kaspa doing this, Kaspa doing that. They are more focused on delivering and doing things right. And for me, seeing them being very, very close to the approach that Kaspa core team has, like do things slowly but surely, making sure, sorry, that the developments are properly thought of and tested before doing any deployments. That was one checkbox for me, that they are indeed something that they are the person that relate very much on Kaspa beliefs, right? And they are following that. So joining Casplex was again maybe a matter of luck. Um, I think everything started with the conference in Romania, where uh, Ka had all the marketing stuff. Believe me, it was an extremely nice and different different way of marketing Caspa. You had Caspa on tables, on coffee mugs, on everywhere, on banners everywhere, right? So everyone, they were sipping their coffee and we were seeing Caspa. But at that conference, I was able to discuss about Casplex layer 2, not layer 1.5, because I had a debate with Chris as well on this one. Um, and I was mentioning at the beginning of this space that Ashton had my, let's say, my uh, the process of joining Casplex is also thanks to him, because throughout those days he supported me and he was like, "Yeah, you'll do this just fine. You'll see, and just believe in what you are doing, so on and so forth." So his words helped me a lot. So to cut it short, Casplex for me is like a very nice and very important step for me. I don't take this lightly. I am not just joining another team doing random stuff. The goal for me with them is to be the same person that I am today, namely the middleman between business slash technical, to help them if I can, obviously, by providing them any ideas that I might have. But of course, the technical details are 100% with them. And I'll do my best with Casplex to make sure that they are well heard, well understood, and well perceived in the community. Because as I started this long discussion, um, they are indeed devoted to Caspa, and for me this counts a lot. Versus the some guys that could have offered me, let's give a random number, $10,000, do this for us, right? So for me, this is a long journey ahead in which I can hopefully provide some value.
I think you're definitely going to provide some value, that's for sure. Your track record speaks for itself. You've constantly provided value, which is awesome. Going back to because I'm quite interested in this. So the layer 1.5 / layer 2 sort of argument, then could you delve more into that?
Yes, so for me, layer 1.5, and again, take my message with a grain of salt. But layer 1.5 for me means that it's a middleman, because apparently for me this word is being used for by me throughout this discussion. It's a middleman between layer 1 and layer 2, which actually means the following. Layer 1.5, um, so the sequencing of the transactions are happening on the layer 1 on Kaspa, right? Whereas the layer 1.5, as it's being described by some Ethereum discussions and on forums, means that if you rely on the data availability and sequencing on layer 1, and you are just doing the transactions, executing them off chain, and then obviously you provide the output to layer 1, that would be on 1.5 layer, right? But when I had a discussion with Chris, he was like, "Yeah, but for me, layer 2 means you should be stateless, and you shouldn't have your layer 1.5. Sorry, you should be stateless, and you shouldn't have any off-chain node or transactions happening elsewhere." And he said, because we have the node and we have the execution of the transactions on our nodes, we are there, then therefore a layer 2. So this was the debate, depending on from which point of view you are looking into it. If you go to the old school guys, they will say 1.5. If we go to a person that again truly believes on what he's doing, he would say we should be fair. This is like, even if we have the sequencing done on layer 1 and we provide decentralization and we rely on layer 1, which is Caspa, we still do the transaction execution on our side, which basically means that we are layer 2.
Interesting. That's a fair point. Do you reckon we could come up with like a compromise and call it a layer 1.818 or something? Do you reckon Chris would go for that?
You should go with 1.6942.
I was about to say yes, Kaspador,
Heyo!
truth agent style.
Oh, love it. So moving on to the next question. I'm trying to pretend like I'm making these questions up in the top of my head, but actually these first few are from Levendi and I'm reading them. And I think it's just come out so obvious that I'm reading them. I might as well just explain to everyone that I am reading them because I sound like a child when I read. But for the next question, Kaspador.
Wait. Before you get there, Chris, sorry, I just got to say you said this like 3 or 4 times now, bro. Chill. You don't sound like you're good, man. You're fine. It doesn't even sound like you're reading them at all. You're good, man.
Do you remember when you was at like school and you was having a reading lesson with like your books out and stuff, and then your teacher would pick on you to read, and you just stutter over it? I feel like that. That's what I feel like. You've put me back in school, Levendi. Fuck you.
Yeah. I mean, well,
Apologies.
clearly not good enough, and you still got that bloody phone.
Don't start. We've got Kaspador here. Let's be professional. Um, so Casplex aims to enhance Kaspa with data management and digital asset innovation. How do you plan to tackle issues like UTXO bloat or network congestion? And what's your long-term vision for Casplex impact on Kaspa's adoption?
You definitely read this one out, right? Or you just created the question, Chris?
That just come off the top of my head.
Ah,
Yeah, I'm a natural.
you are a legend. Um, yeah, so again, with the caveat that I'm not, I cannot necessarily go into the details. So, if, for example, anyone that is even even a bit more technical than me, he can go into an argument on this one. Um, the there is no UTX bloat on the Casplex, and this is and why? Because if we are doing a parallel with Bitcoin and BRC20, the issue there is that there are very small UTXOs created, and hence you have the limited space for each block on Bitcoin, and this would bloat the network. Whereas for Casplex, the way Chris and the team designed this, they did this proactively, and this has been addressed during the protocol design phase. And moreover, not the moreover, being more specific, basically, what Casplex is doing, they are taking data and embed it in the layer one transactions payload field first, right? So this means that they are sending only a small set of data to layer one from the layer two, which obviously doesn't occupy too much block space. And from the test that Casplex did so far, uh, we have like around 250 Casplex transactions that can fit in a block. So this should be a known issue, non-issue, not a known issue, meaning that if we have, and thanks to Coder again and everyone, if when we'll have, not if, when we'll have 10 blocks per second, if Casplex is using 250 Casplex layer 2 transactions for each block, you would have 2,500 transactions layer 2 executed each second, right? Each second. So I don't believe that this will create any bloat. And again, this has been addressed from the beginning of the design of the protocol by Casplex.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Especially seeing as I definitely knew exactly what I was saying as I said it when I was asking the question. But no, that does genuinely make sense. Especially like you said, because we're moving to 10 blocks per second now, you can fit so much more transactions.
And because this is like, Kaspa has the mass of each block, right? So if you are just providing a few data in the payload, you are not occupying too much of that. So you still have room to wiggle.
So can you just explain that? So when you say it's got the mass, what does that actually mean?
The capacity of the block, right? As you have everywhere, you can fit a certain amount of data there. So,
Gotcha.
so
Yeah.
if you are sending the entire transactions details in the payload, obviously you will not bloat it, right? But if you are only feeding a few metadata in the payload and send that to layer one, and then you take back the response, and then you process the transactions, and then you serve the output. This will be minimized in terms of how much you are occupying. But again, someone more technical could debate on this, and but this is what I know so far.
No, it makes sense. Um, so, what approach are Casplex taking on their version of the EVM compatible layer 2?
What do you mean by the approach? What are can like elaborate a bit on this one?
So, for example, like if I'm trying to, I'm trying to sort of not trying to compare it to other layer 2s that are getting worked on, but like
Okay, got you. I
how,
got you. I got you. I got you. I understand.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
like how is there going to be a bridge there, sort of thing, for gas fees, and how are the gas fees going to work, sort of things like that. But what's Casplex's approach to things like that?
This will be a based rollup solution, not an optimistic rollup solution, which basically means the following. On the based rollup solution, you, as I was saying, you are layer one Kaspa is sequencing, ordering the transactions. So you as a layer two, you are not handling that, right? Meaning that you do not rely on third parties to actually order your transactions, because this obviously can be manipulated. This can create censorship, and this can obviously do MEV extraction as well, right? Because the third party can do whatever they want with your transactions on a layer two, such as Arbitrum and other layer two on Ethereum. But Casplex is aiming to have the based rollup solution, not an intermediate one. This means that Casplex is not doing an intermediate step of deploying, let's say, a full-fledged layer 2 with another EVM and with another third party sequencing the transactions. But Casplex is working on from the get-go to have the true based rollup solution. And this I I will not be humble on this one, because there are, if you look out there, base rollups are only described like in documentation and on forums, and people are talking about it, right? But having a true based rollup solution on Kaspa will be, I hope I'm not mistaken, but the very first one out there. So imagine what Casplex is bringing to Kaspa. Casplex is bringing a based rollup solution, not managing, let's say, utilizing Kaspa decentralization, security, and scalability. And Casplex will only execute the transactions on the on the layer two, right? And then send back the results. So I do not know how to properly explain this, or let's say emphasize on this, but for me at least, and as much as I know as of today, this is a game changer for the industry. So instead of just replicating an existing solution from Ethereum and build, I'm not saying that others are doing that. So I don't I'm not doing any internet battles, so I'm not saying the solution provided by A or by B project is wrong. That's very good. They can have it. It's very, very useful. The community can choose, and the community can decide whatever to use. But I'm talking only about Casplex. So the approach that Casplex is doing is from the get-go to have a based rollup solution using Kaspa at its fullest, and only execute the transactions on Casplex layer 2.
Awesome. And will that, so, but will it be EVM compatible? So, for example, could you run this through MetaMask, for example?
There are two types of, let's say, what should I call it? Two types of inputs, right? You can have it directly on layer one via your payload, which can be any wallet out there, or that supports Kaspa, or you can go on the second route, and you are doing a proxied um, call, meaning that you can reach out to MetaMask and have an EVM processing your data and sending that to the layer one, which is Kaspa, right? Um, I would say yes, we can use any wallet, but on this one, I just want to take a pause and ask Chris more on the specifics because I don't want to say something that is not true. But as far as I know, there will be full compatibility with everything out there. So the migration from, let's say, a dApp or a wallet from Ethereum should be easily enough copy paste to Casplex. But on this one, again, I need to make sure I'm not just saying random stuff.
Awesome. No, and yeah, no, I appreciate the honesty as well. But yeah, I mean that would be incredible if it's that easy to port over stuff that's already on EVM compatible or EVMs to port over to Kaspa. That would be absolutely amazing. And are Casplex sort of looking to design their own wallet as well for their layer 2?
Casplex is not designing a wallet, nor is Casplex going to build any DEX. And the reason for this is you can look a bit in the history, right, of KRC20, meaning that they could have developed a marketplace or something to trade the KRC20, right? But again, coming back to what I was saying, they are so focused on the baseline, the base layer to offer the others the possibility to build on top of it so they do not overtake everything in the space, right? They are providing the pavement if you want, and you can build your house on top of it. So Casplex is not going to develop a wallet or a DEX for this. In fact, they will not ever, as far as I know. So others can just join and deploy their tools and build on top of it.
Awesome. I know there's certainly so Zealous Swap, for example, they're looking to. I mean, they sound like they're pretty much ready to launch as soon as a layer 2 comes on. Kaspa, obviously after 10 blocks per second gets implemented, they sound like they're absolutely ready to start as well. Have they reached out to Casplex at all? Do you know, to see if they
Uh,
can?
I don't know if they reached to Chris or others, but to me they didn't, they haven't. But at the end of the day, and I am following them as well. They have huge progress, and I like it. I just want to see that in production and everyone to use it, of course. But to keep it simple, no, they haven't. But obviously, we can discuss with everyone. Doesn't really matter if a project is choosing A, B, or C project. At the end of the day, as I was saying, you should offer the possibility to everyone to use whatever they believe it's best for them, right? Without saying project A is not sufficient or is not good or is not secure and we are the best. No, at the end of the day, everyone will choose and pick their best, let's say, solution, which obviously um, is beneficial for them, right? Because again, the end the end user doesn't really um, not on no, I wouldn't say understand, doesn't really care if it's decentralized, if it's a based or it's a optimistic rollup, right? They really they don't care because that's if they can swap and if they can do a dApp, if they can do a smart contract, whatever is underneath for them is not important. But when it comes to the institutions or let's say to the big players, they will look into the nitty-gritty details, saying, is this decentralized enough? Is this secure enough? Is this scalable enough? Can we use A, B, or C? Why should we use A or C or B or A, right? So at the end of the day, it's just everyone's preference, which of course in my opinion, this can create, let's say, fragmentation of layer tools on top of Kaspa, because you'll have at least three different projects building those. But again, we shall see what will be the best approach, be it based rollup or optimistic.
You know, I totally agree with you with that as well. Actually, that like most people in general, the every day-to-day person doesn't actually care what's behind the hood. It's just as long as what they input comes back to them. Or do you know what I mean? So I totally agree with you on that one. But I also totally agree with the fact that a lot of builders in the space, so these people that are like businesses basically, that are building in the space do care about what's under the hood. They really do, especially when it affects their bottom line or their security and things like this. And which is why I think, and I do genuinely believe, especially with EVM compatibility coming onto Kaspa, I think it's only a matter of time that these businesses, dexes, whatever, start seeing the true beauty of Kaspa, especially like you said before as well. This will be the first based roll up solution to be implemented correctly and to actually work. So I think there's going to be a lot of people from different networks that are going to be moving over to Kaspa, to be honest with you, because why wouldn't you? You've got better security. It's more decentralized, and you know that the fees are going to be cheap, and yeah, you sort of know it's going to be running nicely. So, and I totally agree with you as well. With competition's good. I don't know if competition's the best word to use, but you get what I mean. It's good that people are offering out different solutions to the whole community, and that the community will pick the ones that they want to choose. And it doesn't mean that everybody in the community is going to pick one solution or one layer two. Other people are going to like other things. So I think having more options is always a good thing. Sorry, that was a bit of a monologue there, wasn't it? Apologise.
No worries, no worries. I got muted myself. I don't know how. I wanted to say I was speaking, but then you carried on, and I was like, why didn't he? Anyway, so do you know what Casplex is doing, or let's say bringing for Kaspa? Um, this is very, very, very important in my opinion. The very first proof of work, 100% decentralized, offering proof of stake capabilities. So the very first proof of work in the crypto that you on which you can run smart contracts, you can do dApps, you can do whatever, right? All sustained by miners. So again, I don't know how to uh, promote this more, but whenever someone asks me why Kaspa, why should I choose Kaspa? Why should I go with Ethereum or whatever Sui or whatever chain? For me, if you are a true believer in decentralization and in believing in the proof of work, there is nothing else to look for. And this is why I have my dedication in Kaspa as well, right? It's perfection. Of course, Kaspa has its flaws, let's say, in terms of not flaws, in terms of not satisfying everyone, right? But at the end of the day, as in the real life, you cannot make everyone happy. But again, 99.99% of the time, Kaspa will make you happy, in my opinion.
Totally agree, man. End game, especially with all this talk of MEV resistance and sort of getting decent or true Oracle readings as well, Oracle datas. I'm really, really, really looking forward to Crescendo, and then seeing the sort of solutions that may come about from that as well. Yeah, I think it's going to be awesome, man. Really, really looking forward to it.
Someone, a very good, I believe, this is my true belief, he's a very good friend of me from crypto space. Never met him, I don't know his face. He DM'd me and he said, let me quote, "Don't be scared, coder of stuff is listening." So, so he put even more pressure on me.
Wait, so a friend of yours said they want to start coding.
They said don't be he said don't be scared, coder of stuff is listening to you. Like be careful what you are saying.
Trust me, man. Like Coder of Stuff has to listen to me every Monday. So, and he probably just shakes his head the whole time, thinking, "What is this guy rambling on about?" But I'm trying, Coder. Trust me, I'm trying. God loves a trier. Um, just going back to the Kasplex's layer 2. So, is there going to be a RATCAS involved for obviously the gas fees on the layer 2 side?
Yes, 100% it will be only wrapped CAS. There will be no token for Casplex. There is no need to create a token. There were no, let's say, even corner cases identified to justify another token to use the layer 2. And of course, this goes again on Chris and 5VB because, and I'm not saying this in a bad way for others, but usually these tokens are used to develop the layer 2 further on, right, on other chains. Whereas for Casplex, uh, their primary goal is not how to make money. The primary goal is we want to actually deliver something that is useful and obviously brings utility to Caspa via Casplex, of course, but uh, having Caspa as the foundation. So there will be no tokens. There will be only wrapped gas for paying the gas fees, and there is no goal, no plan, sorry, to develop any token in the future.
Amazing. So I think with like to settle some people's nerves, because obviously with RATCAS, with recent things that have happened on certain sexes, it obviously freaks people out a bit. But is the solution that Casplex is implementing for RATCAS, so is it going to be sort of locked or like sort of in a vault on the layer 1? So people can sort of have open source to it and can see that it's a one-to-one consistently.
Everything that is being executed on Casplex can be replicated by whoever wants, and whatever the input will be from layer 2, she, whatever, they can just redo that and see the same output on layer 1. So this means that it will always be one-to-one, because on all other chains you cannot depeg something that is backed entirely by the other by the native token slash coin, right? So this will be fully transparent and what's the word? It can be audited by whoever wants, right? You will always see whatever the input from layer 2 is, what's the result on the layer 1, and vice versa. So basically, this will be one-on-one. And obviously, I didn't discuss this, but I expect to be locked in a smart contract.
Amazing. Like I said, I've no doubt good intentions all round. It's just I think with the recent thing with obviously that sex, I think the thought of wrapped Casper can scare some people because they don't probably understand that obviously that's a sort of centralized version. What you guys are building is a decentralized version. So, like you quite rightly said, you'll be able to audit it and verify, which is obviously important in this space. Um, I was going to say as well. So for the minute, are you going for ZK based roll ups? Obviously, when ZK opcodes get implemented onto Kaspa, and what are the sort of data storage requirements? Are they quite high without the ZK opcodes, or without zero knowledge proofs, um, or am I just talking bullshit?
No. But no, I understand you. But this, I already, let's say, addressed this when I said that the payload from layer 2 to layer 1 will be very, very small. So basically, you will have plenty of space and plenty of 250 layer 2 transactions to be included in each block. So this will not consume in terms of data how I want to say the chain, the network. So basically, just having the payload with a few metadata sending to layer 1 would be sufficient, and this is not going to cause an issue in terms of the data load.
But what about on Casplex's side? So when the information and you have to sort of roll them up, does the data requirements on Casplex's side get bigger, or do you know what I mean? Like
I understand, but I don't know the specifics, like how much a node will take, right? So it will take 1 giga, 1 tera. I have no idea on that one, but definitely I can bring it back to Chris and others to see where that stands.
Awesome. Cheers, man. And do you know if Casplex are building a function for KRC20s to port over to smart contracts, for example?
Yes, this is another topic that I discussed with them, and um, there will be a native solution and should be. I love this expression, copy pasta. So it should be fairly easy to migrate KRC20 to smart contracts. But the very, let's say, technical or detailed description uh, are to be provided yet. But in a short answer, yes, they will. We will provide something.
Awesome. I know a lot of KRC projects are going to be really happy about that one, and obviously settles their nerves down as well. Because and I think actually it should be encouraging KRC20 projects to keep building, which I know a lot of them are, which is fantastic. Because and possibly preparing for smart contracts, because that's going to open up a whole new use case for, well, hopefully a whole new use case for projects. So I certainly, I could only imagine they'd be excited to hear that they are going to be able to port over to smart contracts, which is awesome.
Yep.
And then my one last question that I wrote out before we go to the audience is, if me and Levendi, who is an Android user, were burning in a fire, who would you say first?
Do you have your AirPods on, or do you use a random headphones now?
I don't actually have any headphones on, but I am listening through my iPhone.
It's very difficult to because I love you guys both. So I would say I would throw you my right hand and Levendi my left hand. But note that my right hand is way more powerful than my left hand. So I hope this answered your question.
That is perfect.
The most humble answer I've ever heard in my life. Kaspador, bro, I love you, man. You're a fucking awesome person,
Yeah,
honestly.
I'm.
Kaspador, I heard that because you were saying before about at the Romanian conference that you were part of. You said there's loads of Kaspa, like Kaspa stickers and Kaspa coffee mugs and Kaspa everywhere. I heard that there was some Kaspa moonshine as well.
Yeah, that was sick, man. But you should ask Ashton on that one. He knows better.
Did it make you go blind, Ashton?
Damn near. I sat down. We sat at this like rooftop bar one of the nights, the first night that this was presented, and we're in these like igloos type shape, right? It's like clear and it's cold outside, so you're sitting inside, and they pass around this bottle. I was hesitant for a couple times, but I took 2 drinks pretty quickly. They, you know how these social things go. They follow up with a second. It's like, all right, here, have another one, And man, my chest was burning for a while. I was keeping my face straight, trying not to look like the weak guy. Like, I can do this. I'm good. I've drinking before.
Never that one though. Yeah, no, it was, and to be honest, that moonshot, how you call it, that was prepared by Kaspa, Romania. Um, this is a great guy. Ashton met him, and he prepared that. And his wife, I believe, made the bottles and the Kaspa logo using crayons. So it was made by hand, right? So
Yeah.
this guy prepared. How many were there, Ashton? Like 10
Oh,
bottles?
maybe. I think even more because there were some, he gave them out and then there was more at the conference available sitting there on the table. So yeah, maybe 10, 15, 20, somewhere in there. But yeah, they're all like hand painted bottles. I'm looking at mine right now. I drank the alcohol and have the empty bottle on my little shelf in the office.
Yeah, yeah. So that was a you see Ashton and everyone. These small things, right? Very small things, like no one cares about. For me, this means a lot. Someone that took a few hours from his life to paint the Kaspa logo on a bottle and then hand it over to the community that was flying all the way from the States to Romania, which is another amazing thing. Imagine this, right? For me, it's like this is true passion about be it Kaspa, be it whatever, doesn't matter. But someone spending his time for a complete stranger, for me means a lot.
And it's all thanks to Kaspa that this happened. If Kaspa wasn't like, and I think that's the beauty of fair launched things being fair launched as well, is it does become like your responsibility if you want to take up the gauntlet, or if not even the gauntlet, if you want to, if you want, I don't know how to say it. If you want things to progress, it's literally up to you as an individual to do it. But when individuals come together because they're passionate about something, it gets even stronger. And I totally agree. I think it's awesome. And I think even Chris came from the Nacho team as well, didn't he? But again, he's an Android user, and I'm pretty sure on his flight home, his bottle got taken off of him, which is standard because, again, Android user.
And
But
Yeah,
I,
they saw the Android and stole it.
no,
yeah,
Ashton can confirm. I never spoke with Chris throughout those 2, 3 days because he had an Android on his hand.
you heard it here first. This is an exclusive. If Kaspador sees you with an Android, you're blank. You're blocked. Um, I'm joking. And actually, I think Chris. I saw a post from Chris on his X account saying that he actually got sent some because he got it taken off of him at the airport and he was gutted about it. He actually got sent some from Kaspa Romania as well.
Literally the only guy I know that would lose it at security and then call back and say, "Can I have another?"
Yeah, yeah.
Apparently, the glass had melted by the time you got there, though, because that was real strong moonshine. What was it, Kaspador? What's it called?
Oh, I think it was Trika. It's like you ask how is it called? So it's a local drink. Depends. It goes on palinka, trika, or other things, but basically it's made out of fruits that are being fermented and then they are uh, distillated and you get the drink.
What did you say they were made out of?
Fruits like you can have apples or other types of fruits.
Actually, sounds really nice. Um, I'll have to come to the next one just to try that, and try and outdrink you and Ashton, which won't help. I'll get pissed after 2 beers, so it definitely won't happen. Anyway, are we okay to move on to any questions from the audience, Kaspador?
Yep, definitely.
Awesome. I can see STP's up here and the hands straight up. Let's go. How you doing, bro?
Yeah, hi. Do you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Oh,
can hear you fine.
yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, it's on the iPhone, so it should work. Two, two questions for Casplex and Kaspador. But before, I have a little intro to make my questions at the end maybe more understandable. I know everything in this intro you will know, but just for myself. Um, if these questions at the end for you are irrelevant or completely wrong, feel free to make me aware of my lack of knowledge. But I would like to learn every day or at least every week a little bit more about Kaspa. So Kaspa is made for peer-to-peer transactions. That's already working for a few years. And what I like to emphasize a lot is that the goal of Kaspa is actually global industrial adoption, mature crypto at the finally, and this is going to be possible for the first time on a scalable, censorship-resistant, secure proof of network as Kaspa. What is the proof of this? That this is an important goal of Kaspa. 90% has been minted. So for the Kaspa miners in the future, it's difficult to tell when, but it will. It's just facts. They will become more and more dependent on the fee market. So for this, you need adoption. And you guys you've done an amazing job with the Kaspex protocol. You stress tested Kaspa network on a scale that has never done before. So I think, I'm not sure if Coder Stuff agrees with this, but I think they really had a good input from this. So now the two questions. For example, when Kaspa in a year or two is broadly adopted, for example, with KYY and other major instance, third parties, microtransactions, all sorts of adoption. Kaspa needs to be even, for this, Kaspa needs to be even in that time when it has scaled further and DECNITE is implemented. The most important thing for the industry who would potentially use Kaspa is that the Kaspa has no congestion or transactions queued up to, for example, minting. That's now an easy example. So is this for you? Is this a threat for Kaspa? And I have a follow-up question. So, but in your opinion, because if KRY wants to use Kaspa for their microtransactions for their hydrogen and solar panels, they want a stable. They want a network without delays. So, do you think high amount of transactions and queued transactions are a threat for the Kaspa network in the future, even if it scales further?
I will provide my personal belief, not Castflex, right? And thank you, one, for stepping in, and secondly, for the very well put question. So my personal belief is like, imagine this. Kaspa might have zero adoption, or it might have 100% adoption, or anywhere between those numbers, right? So if you look at Ethereum, you will see whenever there was hype on Ethereum, you would pay up to maybe even $1,000 per transaction. I recall this very well because I was part of the ICO games back in the day, and when you wanted to claim and swap to be the first one to swap, I was paying, like, again, I'm not exaggerating, at least $1,000 if it was a hyped momentum on Ethereum, right? Which is very, very used by everyone. So, in my opinion, if Kaspa will be, let's say, the end game for everyone. They will settle everything on Kaspa. You will have real life transactions settled on Kaspa. You will have permanently a full load of transactions. But when Kaspa has 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 at peak transactions per second, you need to understand that. Let's imagine this: if you have 40,000 transactions, it will only take 10 seconds, more give or take, right? To settle that. And that would be at the full peak. And always you'll have the possibility to pay more, a bit more, to be included in the block. You know exactly how it happened with the minting, right? But that was like 1 block per second. You had like 200, 250, 300 transactions per second. Now you multiply that by 10, and you reach the number that I gave you. And for me, for example, if I'm sending something and after I press send, and then I look on the left and on the right, I pick up my phone, 10 seconds passed and the transaction has been executed. I cannot see the future, of course, but if we are still talking theoretically, we still have 100 blocks per second to follow. So that should eliminate any spikes, or let's say any waiting times on the network. Again, this is my personal answer and this is my belief. Of course, it can go south and you can have zero adoption and then you will have no issue. But in my opinion, this will not happen.
Yeah, no, but for Kaspa we need adoption. But this is so my second question became a little more relevant. So if this might occur in the future, if this happens, a lot of transactions, too much demand for the Kaspa network, so that with queued up transactions and a little bit more high fees, Is this something where Casplex can step in and take some of the load of the Kaspa network, or is it completely a wrong idea?
I would say this is something that I cannot answer because I don't know the answer. I can bullshit a bit, but I wouldn't do it. So I don't know how to answer this one at this point in time.
Yeah, sorry, I don't even know the answer to because I'm not an expert, but it was just something I had in
No,
my
very
head.
good question. Very good
Okay.
question, but
Yeah.
sadly I
Okay.
cannot help you.
Okay, so that was it for me. Thank you. Very interesting. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Thanks, STP. You're not at a football match tonight, then?
yeah, we lost, so don't talk about it.
Oh no, gutting! You still took part in the space a little bit though, so that was fantastic.
Yeah,
Fair play.
yeah, but I was walking through the stadium and then it was difficult to understand. So and then accidentally I pushed the request button to speak, but I had nothing to say, so it was a bit a mess. Sorry.
It worked well, man. But thanks for coming up and asking those questions. We always appreciate it when you come up and ask your questions. They're always well thought out.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. We've got some questions up at the top as well at the Jumbotron, and we also have some questions from cryptopumpz because he's live streaming on YouTube. He sends us his questions that he's getting through as well. So I'll start with cryptopumpz's questions. So someone put, shouldn't there only be one layer one? Sorry, shouldn't there only be one layer two instead of getting messy? So their argument is more layer twos equal more hackable. They need to be capped. I'll just put my input on this one, and I'd love to hear yours as well, Kaspador. I think the more layer twos, the better, because if you're relying on just one layer two, that then becomes a sort of central point of failure. Because if one layer two is for whatever reason hacked or anything like that, and you've only got the option of one, that's pretty detrimental to everybody in the space who's using just that one layer two. Whereas if you've got plenty of layer twos, it spreads the risk. That's my opinion anyway. Kaspador, what do you think about that?
Fair point, but don't we need to understand and remember something. We are talking about decentralization. So how would you stop someone building something on Kaspa? So if I'm coming tomorrow and I'm just deploying a layer two using a GitHub, I'm just giving a stupid example, right? And someone decides to use it, and I hack them, or my layer two is being hacked or broken. What can you do? So at the end of the day, when we are talking about decentralization, you cannot do anything, right? Everyone can build whatever they want. It's all about the community to make sure that whatever they are using, it's legit, or at least they did some research as much as they can. But for example, I wouldn't jump in a layer two on Ethereum just because it's called ABC layer two and it has zero fees. I would be a bit reluctant at the beginning. So to keep it short, you cannot hold anyone back doing whatever they want in terms of building.
Yeah, very true. And we have another question as well from somebody else from CryptoPumpz's live stream. Are we going to be able to stake our Kaspa in the future, thanks to sort of layer twos?
You will be able to do whatever you are doing today on any other chain that supports smart contracts. But this doesn't mean that Casplex or Kaspa or others will actually deliver this. I'm more than sure that people will build solutions around this. You will have DeFi, right? So there will be projects where you could potentially stake, but not. I don't know. In fact, no, I don't know. I don't know what people will build, but the functionality will be there. So if someone will actually build something like this, you can go stake, be it a token, be it wrapped, be it whatever they are offering.
Awesome. Right, I'm going to make my way through some of the questions at the top as well. I'm just going to, sorry, let me work through them.
Aglovale. Sorry, I think I hope I had his name correctly. He's asking, are there any plans between the layer tools currently being developed, Casplex or Igra and others, to create an easy interoperable bridge to ultimately prevent fragmentation of the liquidity? Not that I'm aware of, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't happen or will not happen or cannot happen. So I already took a screenshot on this one, and I will discuss with Chris and others. But as far as I know, for the time being, there are no such discussions. This doesn't mean that this is a bad or good thing. Maybe I just don't know about it, or maybe they are happening without, sorry, they're happening without me being aware of it.
Awesome. That was a good question, actually. Makes sense.
Yeah, I took a screenshot and sent it, to be honest. Yeah. That together with coders of stuff, of course, who directed me to deep dive more into some things.
I was literally just about to read that one out, but you've seen that one already.
Yeah.
Awesome. I didn't know if it was a question or not, to be honest with you. Because I can only see part of the message. I'm probably being like proper boomer here, and someone just said just click the thing and you'll see it all. But I'm worried if I click anything, I'll screw the space up and I'll disappear. So
You cannot. You have an iPhone. You're not going to get drugged on iPhone.
oh yeah, I forgot. Silly me. We've got the superior tech. I mean, really, iPhone is the Kaspa of the phone world, isn't it? And I suppose Android is like Litecoin. But that's like two shots fired.
Don't ever bring those bots up ever again, bro. Holy fucking shit. These guys are, I don't even want to get into it. Those paying attention on the timeline know what's gone down.
Oh, that was a funny poll, though. That was a funny poll. But it turns out that they botted both ends.
My goodness me, it was
Oh,
relentless. I had it out with a couple of them on the timeline this morning and afternoon. It was pretty funny. In the end, one apologized and called himself gay, which I didn't quite understand. But hey, such as the timeline.
typical Litecoin users, or should I? Sorry, typical Litecoin user, because I think there's only one person using it now. Anyway, this is getting silly. Come on, professional. Vidar has said, sorry, my first question wasn't clear. As Kaspa already handles around 300 TPS per block, are you going to run those layer 250 transactions in one transaction on Cas or in one block? PS, told you before going to Romania to be careful with those, and then I can't read the rest of it because I can't actually see it. So, but it sounds like it's going to be dodgy anyway.
Those are 250 different payloads transactions. Not one transaction, 250 different ones.
Hopefully that's cleared it up for Vidar. And I think that's all I can see up there, Levendi. Is there any more in the chat at all?
Sorry, I was just answering one from Banana that it was asking a non-technical question about the difference between Casplex and Zealous, and I was just explaining one's an L2, one's a Dex.
There is a sorry, Levin. There is a
Oh, that's
confusion.
okay.
That's a confusion around this because this is something that I will also want to make sure that it's pretty well understood. Kaspa is Kaspa, Casplex is Casplex, Igra is different topic, and all others are different topics. Meaning that Kaspa it's independent of whatever else third-party teams or let's say companies or projects are building on top of it. Casplex is a layer 2 now a protocol. Casplex developed KRC20 and the indexer needed for that, and Casplex will bring stables on Kaspa. The Zealous is a DEX, as Levendi was saying. It's another third-party product that basically allows you to swap your tokens or coins or whatever based on liquidity and based on AMM, right? So something like you have Uniswap on Ethereum. So it's a DEX. And then you have IGRA, which is another layer 2. And then you have Casware, which is a different topic, a different team, which is a wallet. So people need to understand that Kaspa is Kaspa and nothing else is like around it in terms of like developed by Kaspa. And whatever we're discussing here, layer 2s, layer 1.5, DEXs, and other stuff, those are independently developed by third-party teams. And so sorry, Levendi, to cut you off. I'm being rude on this one. Sorry.
I think you've hurt feelings now.
Yeah, oh my goodness me, what was going on there? I was hearing myself twice. I think I was getting rugged and muted, and you know that mute all button. I may have pressed it on my own head. But no, all good, bro. You didn't cut me. All good, man. You explained it very well, and thanks for jumping in and clarifying that. I mean, there are people in the audience that are not that technically minded, and likewise coming into this space myself, I knew nothing, and nowhere near compared to the knowledge that I picked up over the years and through experience and watching things unfold. So it's good that you explained it, man. Thank you.
Thank you, Levendi.
100%. I second that as well. Like I said before, obviously I knew about Kaspador, actually before Kaspador was even launched. I thought I knew a lot about Bitcoin, but funny enough, it wasn't until I started learning more about Kaspa and was really deep diving into it because I really wanted to find out about it, that I actually started to realize I knew nothing about Bitcoin at all. So funny enough, learning about Kaspa has actually made me learn more about other networks as well, which is awesome. And the pursuit of knowledge is always good. So and everyone's always learning, which is why I love these spaces. Always learn something new, and hopefully so do the audience. I was going to say as well, Kaspador, is Casplex running their sort of testnet at the moment, and is it public or publicly available, or at least sort of select few available?
This hadn't been addressed in a previous post. This is DevNet is available and used, and I think Ashton, you can provide more insights because you were the one of the ones that received access to it. And the limited number of people that received access to the DevNet is because one that is ongoing and new releases are happening. I would say every few days. And we were focused mostly on people that actually know how to use it, create a payload because there is no wallet now supporting this. And we granted access to only a few, again, on the DevNet. However, the public testnet will be available. I cannot pinpoint time frame, saying 2 weeks, 3 months, but we are talking about weeks, not months. So the answer is no, and the answer is yes, depending on from which point of view you are looking at it.
Ashton, can we squeeze anything out of you about testing out Casplex's layer 2?
Well, I was going to jump in, and then he proceeded to say that he only gave access to people who know what they were doing. And I was like, now what do I say? I I have struggled significantly with building a payload, and I think that has a lot more to do with me than Casplex, if I'm honest. But the rest of our team has been preoccupied with a couple other things, specifically building like smart contracts for EVM and getting ready for some of those things to test. So I need a little bit of help, and I don't have a lot of information to provide, unfortunately. Sorry, I had to say that publicly.
Yeah, that's good. But at least you saw the Explorer, you saw everything around it, and yeah.
Absolutely. I was able to add it to MetaMask, see the gas transactions, explore. I did try to play a little bit more yesterday, and I think RPC might have been down for a little bit. But regardless, I'd love to talk to you more about this outside of this space.
Sure.
So you've actually used MetaMask with it, though. That's pretty cool.
It is. It's very cool to see CAS in MetaMask, for sure. I wish I knew how to send it.
Wait, so question, technically, can you use it with Phantom too?
You can use it with whatever supports PVM, yeah.
Bro, whose
any
DMs do I
EVM
need to
wallet.
slide into? Holy shit! Let me use that shit.
Yeah, we already started working on integrating like Wallet Connect and stuff on the Moonbound project, and it's legitimately off the shelf, Rainbow Kit and WagMe's and anything that does these Wallet Connect things should work exactly the same with, I think, either of these L2s, Casplex or Egra is my understanding, but can't really speak for either of them.
So cool. Oh, Crescendo's not too far away either. This is going to be awesome. Casplex, Kaspador, that's the other thing I was going to ask. And I know every single developer in the world absolutely hates this question. But is there a sort of date that you want to launch Casplex's layer 2?
You said something when you asked the question. You said every developer hates this. I don't hate it because I'm not a developer, right? So I'm good with I'm good with the question. But jokes aside, as I was saying, Casplex is very following Kaspa very close when it comes to taking the time and making sure that everything is perfectly done. There is no set in stone date. So there is nothing like first of whatever month or whatever date. But rest assured that as soon as we have this established, we will make everyone aware of it. But no, there is no clear date as of today.
Fair enough. Any sort of like, I don't know, ballpark figure date?
You're
I'm trying to squeeze any alpha I can out of you.
you're no no.
Good answer.
That was so close. Oh my goodness, that was so close.
Where's Pam when you need her?
My God, get her up here.
Yeah, she would have squeezed it out of you, Kaspador, definitely. She's great at
No,
dragging alpha
no.
out of people.
People know me. People know me. I never sweat. So
Maybe we should do that, just a one-on-one show with Kaspador and Pam. See if she can squeeze alpha out of him. Be like a Guantanamo Bay.
Staring contest, mate. I don't know, see who blinks first.
Yeah, the ultimate face-off.
It would just be a completely silent X Spaces, sort of like our roast on Sunday. That was completely silent as well most of the time.
Well, for Tom.
he got blocked by all the questions.
I know, I felt so bad.
I ripped him so hard today about it. It was so funny, and it was the guy at the end. Pavel said like, "Oh, Tom's actually here." Oh, it was hilarious. Anyway, you
Poor
had to.
Tom, bro. You give him so much, so much shit. It's great to watch. I'm not gonna lie, Tom, man.
It's brotherly love.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Tom is honestly, he's one of the most nicest, genuine guys out there. He really is, and much smarter than I am. I've just got a louder mouth, but no, honestly, he's a great person. Just hopefully next time we'll be able to see him. Oh, yeah. I'm actually really looking forward to doing that again. I've really had fun on that one.
I don't know if you guys saw, but CryptoPumpz just sent in a question that I got really excited about, so I'm just going to steal it and ask Kaspador if you don't mind.
Yeah, 100%. Go for it.
Have you had any devs from any other chains approaching you about building on Cas when smart contracts are here?
I had a good one. Looks like I would say it's almost an insider. uh, I had other chains reaching out saying that asking if I can help them. There were three teams, different chains, different projects. At the point in time, I tried to help some of them. Sorry, not some, one of them. And but then I said, no, I don't have the time, I don't have the bandwidth. And to be honest, I didn't tell him this, but I'm telling you, I didn't have the desire nor the any be it any amount of money to worth my time in working for them. So the answer is yes, I had three, but I've declined.
Sorry, Ashton. Go.
I was just going to finish up and say I understood. Thanks for the answer. And that was actually CryptoPumpz' question himself. So fantastic question.
Yeah.
Banging question. But I think the fact that 3 separate devs from different chains have approached you, I mean, I think that in itself is quite promising. So, yeah, like I said, I think when Crescendo happens and then these layer 2 comes out, especially the EVM ones, I think there's going to be a lot of people porting over to Kaspa, because why wouldn't you? It'd be interesting to see anyway. What are your thoughts on that, Kaspador? Do you think we're going to see a lot of different networks, people on different networks porting over or copy pasting onto Kaspa?
I'll tell you something. Um, I have analytics on Cas Live, of course, right, and Cas Bay, and they are well indexed within Google. And since I launched the timer for the Crescendo, which I'm sure that this is a pain in the ass for Coder and Michael and everyone else, like the time is ticking. Uh, I've received updates weekly from Google. No, sorry, monthly, not weekly, monthly, saying congratulations, you hit 1,500 clicks on Cas.live. So and before that, I only received updates on the Casbay, right? Because Casbay at a certain point in time, it was serving like 30, 40,000 people per day when there was the KRC20 hype. Uh, um, but on Cas Live, since I took it down, right, from the whatever the initial purpose was, and just replaced that with the Crescendo, seeing that email saying congratulations, you hit this number. For me, this is a not an example. This is the proof that people are extremely interested in Caspa. So I'm looking forward to see the clock reaching 0 and see what unfolds after.
I mean, that is incredible, because, like you said, that's actual data. It's verifiable. So yeah, like I said, there's no doubt in my mind there is interest in Casper, because I think the community is fantastic. To be honest with you, the community does a really good job of pushing it out. But again, beside that, people move over or switch over to things because they're sort of incentivized to. And like I said, especially for a business, what better incentive to move over from a different chain to Casper than the fact that you have got true proof of work security, but this can actually scale, and fees are cheap. Like, you can actually use Cas as it should be used in the real world as currency. It makes perfect sense to do that from a business perspective. So I think we're going to see a lot of activity after Crescendo and Layer 2's come online.
100%. And you have the same group of, let's say, people. You have the degens, you have the people that are trying to milk any new chain that is out there, like extract the most value of. Doesn't matter for them if it's Caspa or ABC chain. And you have the businesses, right? So all of them will be, at the end of the day, filtered somehow. Namely, they will do their thing. Those that are for the long haul will stay and make the most of Caspa. Whereas the others will just be another chain. Okay, we did our job. Let's go. Let's hop on to the next one. And this is perfectly fine. This is happening on each and every chain layers and whatever is being developed there. But at the end of the day, I think if you want to be 100% decentralized, auditable, and transparent, immutable, and all the transactions there without the possibility to roll back or do whatever crazy things that is possible on the proof of stake, of proof of time, of proof of whatever they are called, they will stick with Caspa. So to be honest, if I could fast forward to end of year to have like 3 minutes in seeing the future, uh, I would happily to do that just to see where we are. But I guess we need to all wait and see how this will unfold.
I'm with you there, man. I literally can't wait. I know I keep saying it, but I really, really can't wait because I just know what's coming. It's going to be awesome. I'd love to actually get Coda of Stuff up here one day. I don't know if Coda of Stuff's ever spoken live, but I would absolutely love to get Coda of Stuff up here to speak about things and his journey as well, or her journey. I actually don't know if Coda of Stuff's boy, girl, but I'm assuming it's a him. But I'd love to get his opinion and his journey on how he found Kaspa, why he wanted to develop on it, and how it feels to be one of the absolute badass team to actually launch Crescendo when it comes. It must be incredible feeling, but maybe that's for another time. I'll see if I can slide into his DMs and coax him out.
If you, Chris, if you give me 50 quids, I can slide him a DM.
What another 50 quid? I'm giving you 50 quid to do this.
The famous 50 quids. I can't believe it, man. Wolf, wasn't that from your corner? Didn't that happen with?
He had that fight, yeah.
Yeah. I can't believe that happened still.
Which fight?
Oh yeah, I forget. You've got many. You don't correlate them.
No, you need to be specific. Was this the one with the clown?
The 50 quids, the one that tried to threaten you about hacking you for how many pounds?
Oh, you're talking about virtual fight, not physical fight. Yes, the virtual fight. He was saying that he's gonna destroy my life for. It wasn't 50 quid. It was I think it was something like $24 or something stupid like that.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
24. How specific? $24.10.
It was bizarre.
Yeah, it is his monthly bills. You had to pay, man.
Yeah, because
you had to get it somehow.
I got like a DM from the dude, and he's saying like, I'm gonna bring more people to your space, and I said, well, okay, cool, enjoy. And then afterwards he goes, said, oh, you owe me $24. I said, $24 for what? And he said, no, for the people I brought to your space. I brought like 50 people to your space. I'm like, fuck off. I did pay for stuff like that. What the hell are you talking about? Then he said, no, he's going to destroy my life for $24. And I said, dude. And he said that threatens people for $24 is not threatening. I can promise you that. And then I had a post that went up for coffee, and I had like 5 guys jump on the back of it. So, it's the worst coffee we've ever drank, and it's so bad. I burst out laughing. Anyway, but yeah, that was that one.
I mean, to be fair, that's a bit of a bargain, actually. $24 for 50 people.
I don't know what these. I don't pay for these things.
Oh, I loved it when you first because when Kaspador just come into the chat and just said 50 quids. That is brilliant. Oh, brilliant. Okay, Levendi, have we got any more questions for Kaspador? And does anybody in the audience have any questions for Kaspador? Get him while he's hot.
I haven't pinned up anything lately, but we have Steve up on stage. Steve Wilson, welcome to the stage. You've got a question for Kaspador and Kasplex?
I was laughing on the 50 quids just now, so I lost all the questions I had. Yeah, so my question is, like, is there a JavaScript SDK to interact with the wallet?
Interact with the wallet, you said? Sorry?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a JavaScript SDK.
For which wallet? Any wallet?
No, the Kasplex, or what you call it.
Kasplex is not a wallet.
Yeah, like, I don't know, I was just reading about it, like platform, something like that, right? I saw that you have APIs, right? A protocol, API, and something else, right?
Yes, so Kasplex is a layer 2 solution, so endpoints will be available to obviously call and interact with it. But in terms of building, you'll be able to run your own node on Kasplex, and you can do whatever you want if you have the knowledge to build something.
Okay, and I can use JavaScript to build, right? So is there an SDK?
I don't know the specifics, if we will, definitely
Mhm.
there will be something available, but if it's JavaScript or React or Go, I have no idea on this one.
Okay, yeah, because I just like for the back end, I don't care about the front end. Anyone can use whatever they want to use. So for the back end, would just like for example, with Web3.js, right? You will interact with ETH or interact with Solana with Web3.js for Sol, right? So it would be great if there is like something like that for Kaspa.
For Casplex,
Mhm.
again, all the documentation will be provided as soon as we launch, but I cannot provide specific answers on this one.
Okay, yeah, because I was on the website and didn't find it. That's why I jumped in to ask.
Okay,
Thanks a lot.
thank you.
Thanks for the question, Steve. And I love the pirate hat.
Thanks a lot, man.
No worries, bro. Crypto, I can't read the rest of it. Crypto N, you've got your hand up.
Crypto Ninja here. How are you guys doing?
Oh, legends. Yeah, good, mate. You?
No complaints, thanks. I'm not sure if this is the right audience for the question, but there's a lot of smart people up here. So I wanted to know, once the smart contracts are done and ready to be implemented by the projects, is there any form of idea what the cost would be involved to migrate over? Because as far as my knowledge goes, there's also more liquidity and stuff like that. But I would like to know if there's more actual estimates or figures or facts that anyone has, what the financial impact to a project would be once smart contracts are implemented, to be able to go over to them.
I don't know how to take this one. Financial, like how much would it cost a team to migrate, or how much liquidity is needed, or how much the fees will be, or what specifically? Sorry, I don't
Yeah.
follow.
Yes. So let's say for a KRC project that's already launched and up and running right now, and they want to migrate over once smart contracts is up and running, what would the cost be for that project? Would that be based on specific things, or is there a set cost, just like migrating over costs you an X amount in liquidity, or
Oh
does it
no,
depend on the
no.
size?
No, not at all, not at all. There are no fees for migrating something to something, like from KRC20 to smart contracts. It's the gas fee, right? Or whatever the transactional interaction will require. But there is nothing like you need to pay one CAS or 100 CAS to migrate this. And I see Nacho wants to say something on this one.
Yeah, I just wanted to add a little bit of detail because it sounds like his question comes from the surrounding infrastructure, the listings and the tradability of a token where they exist. So we don't really know what migration would look like at this point. But to Kaspador's point, migration is just the recreation of the tokenomics and the project on a different chain. So arguably, there's obviously some differences, but in theory, this is no different than saying, would it cost me anything to move Nacho to Solana or something like that, right? I mean, yeah, kind of, maybe. There's a lot of what ifs in there around what is the liquidity in a centralized exchange going to do? You know, if you have a real DEX where liquidity is locked up, how is that going to be affected? But the migration itself is really isolated to just creating the project and its associated tokenomics on a different layer. So you know, the way I've kind of envisioned this hopefully working is essentially, you know, replacing everyone's token that they have currently on KRC20 with whatever new version is on a different, you know, layer 2 or chain or, you know, whatever it is, right? So the simple idea is recreating the exact same project and, you know, by some method burning the old tokens and airdropping or replacing them with the new ones. So I think your question is a little bit, a few layers deeper than just the migration. There's a lot more that'll go into that that'll affect it, but that has nothing to do with the migration itself. It's just a product of the fact that that token is being migrated. Is that helpful? Does it make sense at all?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But then probably the second question would then be, for a new project launching on it for the first time, do you have to have a certain amount of liquidity that backs it because it's on smart contracts, as opposed to where you just paid your 1,000 CAS to deploy something on Kaspa?
you shouldn't be required to have liquidity or any type of thing like that. Depending on what you use, a certain launchpad may charge a fee to create the token, but if you were to code it yourself and deploy the smart contract, you'd essentially only have gas costs to create that new token. So once again, the liquidity requirements and those additional costs come from what you do with the token, not creating the token itself. And if anyone here thinks I'm wrong or has a better way to, please correct me. I'm kind of just
No.
estimating based on my knowledge.
No, I think there is a confusion, Ashton, on this one. And no offense, but basically the question is, I think it's like it has two components. One is like how much liquidity should I provide for a new project that I'm launching on smart contracts using Casplex on Kaspa, which has nothing to do with this because this is driven by each project and they decide whatever they want to put as a liquidity. This is like part of their token economics. But for the fees, the associated fees in deploying a smart contract, as you were saying, Ashton, these are the transactional fees like 0.0 something CAS. So there are two topics here. One is like how much should I provide? We don't know. Each project owner will handle that. And the second one is how much do I need to pay the network to deploy my smart contracts? So based on the load, you will pay 0.0 something or I don't know, very few CAS. It's exactly the same on Ethereum, right? When you are deploying something, you have the network cost, the chain gas fees, right? But when it comes to how much you should pour in your liquidity, I have no idea. If I'm building a project, I will put $1. Others will put 1 million. I don't know.
Yeah, that definitely helps for sure. I was trying to make the distinction between the need for liquidity, which only comes from trading, right? A DEX or a centralized exchange or some sort of tradability. The token creation itself is just the gas cost. So yeah, better said. Thank you, Kaspador.
Yeah, thank you. That answered my question. I was basically just in general asking what the financial impact, if any, would be when any projects would change over. That was basically the question or the answer I was trying to get to. But it sounds like very little to none, kind of. It's not going to be a huge impact, it sounds like.
Yeah, it sounds like you said, if there's an existing Chaos 20 project to port over to smart contracts, it sounds like it's just going to be the gas fee.
I've got the answer, Crypto Ninja. I'll do it in his native language. Ons moer hom tot hy pas.
Like Mark Black.
Yes.
Wolf, why did that sound like you shall not pass?
No, it's yeah, ons moer hom tot hy pas means we beat it until it fits. But in Afrikaans it just means like usually when something doesn't work, you just need to beat it, and then at some stage it will fit.
It sounded to me like you said iPhone's better than Android, but we'll go with what you said. You're the expert at South.
Hey, Chris, just one thing on that iPhone. I'll tell you what. It's my birthday coming up here on the 16th of April. I'm willing to get doxed even to prove that. But all I'm telling you now is that if you could be so kind and send me an iPhone for my birthday, because I'm an Android user, but then what I'll do is I'll sell the iPhone and buy Kaspa. That's how much I like Apple.
I got a 3GS for you, headed your way.
Okay, I'm waiting.
Amazing. I'm glad you stepped up there, Ashton, because I certainly wasn't going to send a phone. I don't care whose birthday it is.
I don't know if anyone recognizes the 3GS. It's when the iPhone went from 2G to 3G. It's been sitting in my drawer for 10 years since I worked for AT&T.
It's the size of your thumb, right? That's how old it is.
Maybe the size of Wolf's thumb.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, nice one, Crypto J. Lovely to hear you backing up Android today. Thought I was on my own against all three up here.
I've got to say that roast Crypto J done for me on I still laugh about that. The this is Chris coding on his Mac computer with the guys from, I can't remember the bloody name of it. Zoolander. That's it. Yeah. Thank you. That honestly, that just made me laugh so much because it genuinely would be me trying to code. I haven't even got round to trying a code yet. I will do. I promise you, I will do it one day. I just need just some time to do it. Okay, Levendi, do we have any more? No, we don't have any more questions. Kaspador, I just want to say a massive thank you for being here and answering all those questions. I know there's a lot of people in the community that I've seen on different spaces that were certainly interested in hearing about how Casplex are going to go about their L2 solution, but having you up here and explaining it really, really does help. So a massive, massive thank you to you, man. It's been great having you up here again.
Thank you so much, man, for having me. And as I was telling Levendi, because he said let's do a space with you. I was like, there is no need to make a space to have a space for me, right? I can hop in and answer here and there, but he was like, no, we need to have one dedicated. I truly hope that whatever I said today will help people understand better where we are, what we are doing, and what is the difference between Casplex and other projects, and let's say the benefits of Casplex on top of Kaspa. I'm always, as you all know, always replying to DMs, to be them Telegram or X, doesn't really matter. I'm doing my best to answer everyone, and I would say thank you to, besides you, Levendi, Chris, and Ashton and Wolfie, thank you all for joining and for bearing with us for the last 2 hours. It has been a pleasure being here, and thank you so much for taking your time in listening to us.
Such a legend, Kaspador. Again, massive thanks to you, man. You're such a great person for the space. So I won't massage your back anymore. I'll let you get going. I know you have to drop out now, but yeah, just a massive thank you to you, man.
Thanks, everyone.
Cheers, Kaspador. Sorry, I got something in my throat. Oh, it sounds like I'm welling up. I'm tearing up because Kaspador's leaving. It's not. I genuinely just had something in my throat.
Don't lie, man. You're just crying that you have to use your iPhone. Just admit it. Admit it.
I'm not even going to dignify that with an answer. So while we've got a little bit of time left, Wolfie, did you have anything? Did you have any updates about obviously Wolfie NFT and Wolfie Coin?
Only update I can give is we're beating everyone. So we're beating everyone in growth and doing very well. We've had record sales in the last 3 weeks. So we're now at 460 on Cas, and on Solana we're just under 1,000, 929. So yeah, we're growing very well, and yeah, all good.
I certainly have noticed the growth. It's really good to see. And it's so cool that we've gone from such a humble guy to an even humbler guy.
Yes.
In the space.
Exactly right.
But no, like Wolfie's been doing fantastic. Certainly has. It's been. I really, really, really like the weekly breakdowns you do as well. I think that's such a. I wouldn't say little thing. It still takes time and effort to put together, but I think it shows a lot of dedication and it shows transparency. I think it's really, really good that you provide data every week about how things are going, good or bad.
I do. I show the red bars also, which makes me very sad when I make them. But I do show them. You have to show how it fluctuates and what the growth is and all of those things. But it's the whole thing about Wolf is it's about transparency and it being real. So you need to show that for people. They've got a very big stake in it and involvement in it, and I want to see when it goes up and down and sideways and all of that. So yeah, I always do that.
Certainly helps, man, and I think it's like I said, it's just awesome for transparency as well. I think it's great. Ashton, did you have any updates for Nacho that you want to share?
Not a ton. We had a massive week last week with updates and changes going on and events and everything. So the mint event that we did for the Nacho Cats NFTs went extremely well, and people seem really happy about it. We were able to airdrop the claim ticket NFTs to these folks for the different levels of perks pretty quickly. It was a lot of help from a couple different people. I reached out to KSPR bot and Kaspa for some guidance on building that NFT airdrop tool. And then I sat in my living room for a few hours late one night, just watching it, making sure that it went perfect. And I think it did, which was great. It was really exciting that it worked well and everything played out right. So we're in the process of building the 100 terahash of miners that some of those claim ticket holders are gonna share in rewards of for the next year. And I've mostly these last couple days and the weekend been deep in the math of bonding curve mechanics for Moonbound. There's a couple things that we want to do differently than we've seen on any other platform, and it's hard to do in a completely decentralized smart contract that we don't want to have access to or be able to change. We want to be able to renounce it and just let it run on its own. So there's a lot of what ifs to think about to do that properly. But things are moving right along. It's good. It's just building in the red days, I think. So maybe next week we'll have more thorough updates for you.
Building in the red days is true, but that's good. I think it shows that a project has actual dedication when they build in the red days. So it's always good to see projects building in red days. Levendi.
A couple of real quick things. Sorry, Chris. I forgot about these. I should have mentioned them. But I see STP up here. We Jesus hit me up in the back end about nomination thing in Gov platform on the KDAO side. So I've got that on my book to look at this afternoon after the space. So you'll probably get a message from me soon. And there was one other thing that it's gone now. Oh, Crumbs, Levendi, Crumbs claiming. I'm sure there's some sort of update you want to provide there.
I just literally pinned up a reminder up on the Pindrotron. What the fuck? I need to get to bed. On the Jumbotron, there's almost 200 million crumbs that have been claimed so far. 8 million away from hit that number, which is insane. 200 million. Taken a screenshot from Cast.fyi, taken into consideration that some people have been listing their crumbs tokens and some degens have been legitimately buying them. Let me repeat myself. Some degens have legitimately been buying crumbs instead of claiming them for free. Which is insane to me. The websites are linked on CasFYI. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Directs to the claiming page. There's information there. So I don't understand the logic behind that, but it happened, and as a result, it boosted the market cap to what it was. 1 point something million, 1.2 million almost. It was insane to see this number. Just like out of nowhere. No such liquidity whatsoever. Just by the way, and so don't get all excited and start throwing your crumbs on the listings. Nothing's gonna happen unless a degen comes out of nowhere and spends 20 cents on your crumbs. But I doubt that, to be honest. But yeah, no, look, 200 million crumbs have been claimed. Website has been refreshed. There was it was kind of, I don't like to say buggy, Ashton, but it was congested, I would say, ish, spewing out a little error. But it's been refreshed and it's been looking smooth and running nicely since. So all looking good.
Nice, good deal. Yeah, the one thing that we didn't account for when we built it was the fact that it all comes from a single wallet. So, perfectly simultaneous claims will result in that little bug. But all you've got to do, it fails and the system recognizes it. So all you've got to do is pop the address back in and try again. It's just unfortunate timing that you and someone else were doing it at the exact same moment.
I mean, I suppose that's a good thing for crumbs, though. That shows it's quite popular if people are claiming at the same time. So that's always good.
Yeah, you know what I've noticed? There's 4 specific times throughout the day where it's the high traffic in collecting crumbs that correlate between some half decent time zones around the world and some main time zones around the world. So it's really good to see. To be honest, I spent some time analyzing data on days off and through work and stuff, and yeah, it's quite evenly spread. It's quite fair. I'm loving the process so far.
Certainly coming along. It's looking good. STB, you've got your hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, just one thing for the Krampus that you get for free. So I made 200 million Kaspa wallets, and I made a script. So I now every day. So I made a script to claim them every 24 hours. So it's possibly that the supply will be out soon.
Yeah. You're going to be the sole owner of Crumbs. Was it you who bought it for $5 as well?
No. It was just as dope, but maybe something to think about. If maybe someone makes a script, it's really easy to make a script on Kasper.
STP, the thing that prevents that we've seen so far, there's 2 things. One, it does require a CAPTCHA to be completed, which can be done with a script and a fake browser library. It's a little more difficult than standard scripts, but it is possible. And shout out to Amalthek, who made me well aware that is possible.
Yeah.
The other thing is VPN based. So you're going to need not
Okay.
VPN, IP address based. So
Okay.
you're going to need a different IP for every one of those 200 million.
Yeah, it was a joke. So yeah, you're lucky you have email back in need. Yes, perfect. Thank you.
But thanks for bringing up that concern, though, STP. It's always good. Like sometimes people miss things. We're not perfect. When I say people, I have no idea how any of this stuff works. So it's I'd miss everything. But yeah, but it's always good to hear from other people about certain vulnerabilities that we can sort of look at. So massive thanks for that one, STP. Steve Wolves. I can't. Sorry.
Yeah. So I was about reading about Volnode, right? The Caspad, right? And like the requirements, they are good, right? But I was wondering if there's like an option to do another node, but for like small devices, like for example Raspberry Pi 5, for example, it like there is an image, not an image, an OS, or let's just say an image, right? Where you will just need a Raspberry Pi 5, 8 gigabytes of RAM, and 2 terabytes of storage, right? Of course, good internet, but it would run. And if you add an SSD and VME, it would run really good. And it's bad for it, right? It won't make like good money, right? But for Casp, I would I would love if there would be like a smaller node with lower hardware requirements than the minimum hardware requirements that they are available now to run Caspad.
I am not the person to ask that one. I don't know too much about nodes, to be honest with you. It's a shame Luke's not here because he'd help, but Ashton may know.
Yeah, Luke would definitely be a guy to talk to about this, and you see a couple of them in this space too. Coder stuff, Aglavale, a couple of these guys would definitely have much better answers than you're about to hear from me. But I find the topic really interesting because one of the things that Kaspa prioritizes and is in my opinion known for is low system requirements for running a node. So for a long time we talked about Raspberry Pis being plenty capable of running a Kaspa node. I guess now with the V1 release and Crescendo coming soon, that's not so true anymore. It may need a little bit more. If I remember correctly, 32 gigs is the goal for RAM. So it changes things a little bit, but I don't know. My gut tells me that they've already prioritized this topic so much that it may be difficult to lower that amount. And one little small part of your question, which maybe I misunderstood, was talking about like it wouldn't make much. Nodes don't
That's
make
for
anything.
it. No, that's for it. That's for it. I was
Okay,
referring to it.
understood. Makes a lot of sense. Okay, so you're thinking of running a smaller node and then completely aware that it wouldn't make anything unless you mine to that node. Yeah, I would hit up one of these guys that knows better in terms of lower requirements, but I think they've already prioritized this pretty heavily.
Awesome. Thanks for the question again, Steve. That's brilliant. I think that probably feels like it's a good time to wrap up because, to be honest with you, I am absolutely knackered. So I would like to get to bed. Is everyone cool with that? I don't want to cut anyone off in case they've.
No, we're staying here until tomorrow 9 o'clock.
I don't have to go to bed for like 7 hours, so
Yeah,
I think you're on your own.
I don't have to go to work tomorrow, man. We're here for good. I'm joking. I'm knackered as well.
I'll let you guys talk, and I'll fall asleep. Fine.
No, I think we've reached a nice end to the space, man. It's been another banger of an episode. Getting to know a bit more about Kaspador and diving deeper into Kasplex. And good hearing more on that topic. And it's been amazing to have some people join the stage asking questions, as well as the questions from the audience in the Jumbotron and in the comments below. This is what we like to see: true education being passed to everybody and in the right way. No bullshit in between, and all fully transparent. Amazing. This is what these spaces are for. Love to see it. And also, just another shameless plug about Crumpet Media. I can't wait until that's out so we can start writing about all of these stories and all of this data that we've been gathering here for you in a much wider and different aspect where we can easily use to spread to those around us. And a big shout out to cryptopumpz as well. Absolute legend, man. Ever since you've jumped onto the team, you've been helping us secure recordings for the shows. We've formed another new show, a great show, Sunday Roast. I know I keep saying it, but it was amazing, man. I had a lot of fun, to be honest. The first podcast style space, whatever you want to call it, that I've ever done in that format, with Cam and chill vibes, to be honest. I really enjoyed myself. So big shout out to you. But yeah, I think that's everything from me. So good night from me, and see you next week.
Awesome, man. Yeah, and I see you down there, American TM. Make sure that the roasts you give for us next Sunday roast are more harsh, because they were just like quite flattering, actually. I want to see you getting horrible with us. That would be brilliant. But I do just want to say a massive thank you. I know he's not here, but again, a massive thank you to Kaspador for telling us all about Kasplex's Layer 2. Really appreciate his time. He's a great guy. Massive thank you to everybody up here, all the speakers, all the people that came up and asked questions, and everybody who asked questions in the comments. Massive thank you to cryptopumpz. He is an absolute legend. His YouTube channel is incredible. Go over and subscribe to him. He's definitely up and coming in the space, and he's going to be huge, no doubt. And then a massive thank you to everyone who took the time to listen to us. As I say every time, we wouldn't have this show as big and as good as it is without you guys. So massive thank you to you. We hope you came for the blockchain but stayed for the banter. That's my corny cheesy line, and we are out. Cheers, guys. See you on the next one.